I was involved with Aboriginal issues even back when I was on student council at UBC.
Oh,
Yeah, because I worked with the BC Forest Service in the government in the summers, where I'd be out in the bush the whole summer. They just drop our food and mail in every 3 weeks from the helicopter, and used to get to meet some of the people out there. Were still very independent, and they were just wonderful people. And then you'd see the people on the reserves, and they didn't have the same lifestyle, and you had difficulties, and it was easy to get a negative stereotype towards that, and that bothered me. I'd feel that way a bit, but and so we worked at UBC trying to help out young Aboriginal girls coming down by getting students. We get a house mother for them and a house, and we'd get students, female students, go teach them how to put makeup on. I mean, employers have 10 people coming for a job, and
right.
and 9 of them are nicely presented and fashionable and all that. It's not that they're racist or anything, that's so we had to give them. Now, what I learned there though was one of those lasting lessons. I expected, in fact, I think it was Harold Cardinal or one of the cardinals, Harold Cardinal, who was quite an Aboriginal leader. He explained to me in a nice way when I was in university how us do-gooders don't necessarily do so much good, he says. And the way he explained it was, by the age of 13, he said, a non-Aboriginal child doesn't know the concept of failure, and they're willing to try anything. And they do. They just do it. He says by the time Aboriginal kids are 13, they know very well what failure is. I mean, and so he used the example. So you get the bookmobile that comes through the reserve, and they wonder, well, why don't these children come running in to try and read the books and all that? And he says the point I'm trying to make, he says, is that you've got to spend time, and you've got to realize where they came from, and you're not going to get huge success just overnight. And today at Careers in our Aboriginal program, that's the statement we use. We win one child at a time. And we saw it happening with the health interns at Capital Health Authority when we had it. Was the first year we got one Aboriginal student in there. And I think the second year there was 2, and I don't know whether it went to 3 in the third year. All of a sudden it was 12, then it was 20. So it's you have to learn that you got to stay. These are tough issues, and you got to work hard and be committed at it. And so I learned. I think I got involved with the Aboriginal issues back then. It sort of started to spark an interest, but I didn't really hit home till Syncrude. And there, of course, we had amazing commitments to Aboriginals, and we did some really amazing things. And we made every mistake of the book, I tell people. That's why Syncrude's the overnight success story. It took 30 years to get there. In the end, I could go through all that we learned, but the one thing that we had to do the first part where we had to find role models, because when we went in on the Aboriginal program, our first mistake at Syncrude is we thought we were in a hiring program, and as fast as we'd hire them, we'd have to fire them. But I don't care if you're Aboriginal or not. If you've grown up on a little town up in the north of 200 people and you're thrown into this huge industrial complex called Syncrude, it's not a formula for success.
Right.
And so we then realized that, hey, we were in a development program. And so the next thing we realized is we needed some good role models. And so we dealt with 5 First Nations as far north as Fort Chipewyan, and far south as Jambay, and in that area 6 Métis locals too. So we had a fairly broad grouping of people, and so we talked to the chiefs or the earlier people to get some role models, get those kids that other kids will look up to and handpick them, work them. And so that was important. The other thing we learned is that you got to learn to look at the world through other people's eyes. And so today over 80%, 85% of Syncrude leaders have all gone through diversity training and cross-cultural training. Initially it was just a focus on the Aboriginal, but now it's more broad But, you know, so by learning to look at the world, that helped. But fundamentally, before we could get anywhere, we had to get the education level up. And so we created a number of innovative programs that would start them in at grade 10. And if they did all the right things and had good attendance and all that, then we'd guarantee them a job. And we don't have to do that today.